Against my therapist's advice, I did spend the majority of the week watching the Republican National Convention because when it comes to figuring out who to vote for, I always make sure to check in with where the My Pillow guy is lending his support. This week's RNC speeches were confusing for me because they reminded me of so many of my favorite fictional TV and movie shows. It was like a dash of The Handmaid's Tale, a drop of The Hunger Games, a whole shitload of The Avengers, if The Avengers were a bunch of racist, sexist, and homophobic white people not wanting to give up their power while actively trying to help Thanos wipe out half the population. You know, the overall theme of the Republican National Convention seemed to be that if you vote for Biden, you'll end up with 4 more years of the hell that we're currently living in, which is Trump's America, right? Like he's still president, right? And he has been for the last 3.5 years, and 180,000 Americans are dead under his watch, right? That's like if the captain of the Titanic would say, hey, if you get on that rescue boat, you're gonna sink even more. Make the Titanic great again. Let's talk about some of these RNC speeches, shall we? Donald Trump Jr.'s speech at the Republican National Convention came off as very erratic and led many people to speculate that his glassy eyes were a sign that he was on drugs. Personally, I'm a bit surprised because Donald Trump Jr. is the last person that I would expect to follow Michelle Obama's advice. You know, when they go low, he got high. Don Jr.'s girlfriend, Kimberly Guilfoyle, gave a memorable speech also, where she didn't seem to realize that there was no one in the audience for her speech, like doing stand-up comedy over Zoom. She was like, when I say white, you say power. White. You know, I felt bad for her because it looked like she was at like a community theater audition for Evita. She's like, don't cry for me, America. My boyfriend is the president's second favorite child, behind Ivanka. The president wants to be behind Ivanka. I know. That's not fair of me to suggest that the president of the United States wants to sleep with his daughter. It's not fair for me to say that. So let's take his word for it. Quote, don't you think my daughter's hot? She's hot, right? End quote. Said by Trump at the 1997 Miss Teen USA pageant about a then 16-year-old Ivanka. Quote, my daughter Ivanka, she's 6 feet tall. She's got the best body. End quote. Donald Trump said in a 2003 interview with Howard Stern. When asked if Ivanka would ever pose for Playboy, Trump is quoted as saying, I don't think Ivanka would do that. Although she does have a very nice figure, I've said if Ivanka weren't my daughter, perhaps I'd be dating her. Donald Trump, 2016 interview on The View. It's kind of gross. Speaking of Ivanka, the woman Trump wishes was the actual first lady was criticized for her RNC speech where she said that her son built a Lego replica of the White House for her father. Turns out that she told the same story about herself in 2007, just a year after he was on The View talking about how he wanted to sleep with her. But this time, instead of the White House, it was Trump Tower. Didn't anyone tell Ivanka that plagiarizing speeches was the job of the first lady? Oh, got it. Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell made a pre-taped appearance at the RNC, despite the fact that he is under bipartisan pressure to recall the Senate from their vacation in order to get a vote regarding the second COVID-19 related stimulus check. In an unsurprising move, Mitch McConnell seems incapable of stimulating anything. As part of the Republican Party platform, Vice President Mike Pence has pledged that he will protect America's red meat from the Biden-Harris campaign. And you know what? I know that I give Mike Pence a hard time. I do. But I genuinely believe him when he says that he will do all he can to protect America's meat. I believe he's going to be real hands-on with that. President Trump's Thursday night convention speech, making the case for his re-election, had lower ratings than his challenger Joe Biden's speech 1 week ago, according to the overnight Nielsen ratings. Trump did, however, have the bigger numbers when it came to how many people he exposed to the coronavirus at his convention. Not only did Biden's convention speech draw bigger ratings than Trump's convention speech, the ratings for Kamala Harris's speech also beat Trump's ratings, proving that once viewers go black, they still might not turn up to vote. So please vote, please, 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 please. You know, the RNC could have been an opportunity for Republicans to reach out to independents or those on the fence. Instead, they chose to lean in hard on vilifying Democrats. While Biden explicitly said in his speech that he would be a president for all Americans, even those who didn't vote for him, Trump went with the Mariah Carey route. Democrats? I don't know her. And this is symbolic of where we are in the country. The lines have been drawn in the sand, and we are a powder keg waiting to erupt, right? Like they say in Hamilton. We're seeing that right now in Kenosha and all over the country, where racial tensions are high because far too many people are incapable of saying and acting on the belief that Black lives matter, which for the record, they do. And in November, we as American voters can decide whether we show up, vote, and get to work on rebuilding this country, or if we'll vote for the captain of the Titanic. Before I say goodnight, let me just reiterate, Black Lives Matter and Wakanda Forever. My name is Richard Martinez, and thank you for watching.